Trump's promises to conservatives raise fears of more book bans in U.S. The national furor in recent years around banning books on race and gender in public schools is intensifying as President-elect Donald Trump threatens to shut down the Department of Education, emboldening conservatives to end wokeness in classrooms. Battles over books in school libraries have become emblematic of the country's larger cultural wars over race, historical revisionism, and gender identity. A new report by PEN America found book bans increased by nearly 200% during the 2023-24 school year, including titles on sexuality, substance abuse, depression, and other issues students face in an age of accelerating technologies, climate change, toxic politics, and fears about the future. Book censorship has shaken and divided school boards, pitted parents against parents, and led to threats against teachers and librarians. It is part of an agenda driven by conservative parental rights groups and politicians who promote charter schools and voucher systems that could weaken public education. The issue goes to the heart not only of what students are taught, but how federal and state education policies will affect the nation's politics after one of the most consequential elections in its history. It's not just about taking a book off a shelf, said Taslin Magnuson, an author and teacher from Wisconsin, who tracks book censorship across the U.S. It's about power and who controls public education. It's about what kind of America we were and are. We're trying to define what family is and what America means. That comes down to the stories we tell. She said she feared Trump's return to the White House would further incite those calling for book bans. I don't have lots of hope. It could get a lot worse. Over the last year, PN counted more than 10,000 book bans nationwide that targeted 4,231 unique titles. Most were books dealing with gender, sexuality, race, and LGBTE+ storylines. The most banned title was Jodi Picoult's 19 Minutes, about a school shooting that included a short description of date rape. Florida and Iowa, both of which have strict regulations on what students can read, accounted for more than 8,200 bans in the 2023-24 school year. This crisis is tragic for young people hungry to understand the world they live in and see their identities and experiences reflected in books. Casey Meehan, director of PEN's Freedom to Read program, said in a statement, "What students can read in schools provides the foundation for their lives." Trump's calls to close the Department of Education would need congressional approval, which appears unlikely. Although public schools are largely funded and governed by state and local institutions, the department helps pay to educate students with disabilities, provides about $18 billion in grants for K-12 schools in poor communities, and oversees a civil rights branch to protect students from discrimination. But Trump's election has inspired conservative parental groups, including Moms for Liberty and Parents Defending Education, to strengthen efforts to limit what they see as a liberal conspiracy to indoctrinate children with books and teachings that are perverse, immoral, and pornographic. Tiffany Justice, co-founder of Moms for Liberty, has criticized schools that she says spend too much time on diversity and inclusion when only about 1/3 of U.S. children are reading at grade level. We're talking about public school libraries and content for kids, Justice told News Nation after Trump's victory. I think it's very clear that there are certain things that are appropriate for kids, certain things that are appropriate for adults. We're just getting back to common sense America.